Hi, and welcome to this week's video podcast. I'm Brent Dodge, and I have with me Sam Schoeneman of Alpine Physical Therapy. We're here to talk about an update on the exciting news about CoreAlign that we've been using in our clinic for the past few months. And I think it'd be helpful if we went through a little bit of the history that brought us to this point and somewhat of our view of where we want to take CoreAlign here in Missoula, Montana. Sam, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Sam, you stumbled across the CoreAlign unit in its infancy and really brought that technology to Missoula. Can you give our viewers a little bit of history on that?
I was at a national convention for Pilates-based rehab and came across this new machine. Didn't know that at the time that it was developed by a physical therapist. After getting on the machine and talking to the inventor Jonathan Hoffman, realized that the simplicity of the machine as well as the functionality of it was something that was missing from our Pilates-based rehab options here at Alpine. And
the fact that you then pursued that, not only in bringing a prototype, we actually got a prototype of the piece of equipment that we were able to practice on, but then you went on to actually get an entire certification, and you're now one of 12 master instructors in the world right here in Missoula, Montana.
Yeah, we worked with Balanced Body and Jonathan Hoffman and went through a pretty intense training program and then thereafter testing and tested out as a master instructor, and now that enables me to teach those classes to new people in the profession, either in fitness or in the medical fields, to be able to become instructors for CoreAlign.
So the vision at this point then is to really open up CoreAlign not only for our physical therapy clients and the benefits that we've been seeing people achieve with it, but also to move it into more of an opportunity for our healthy population as well. So we should probably talk about that in just a little bit. But first, can you just tell our viewers a little bit about some of your experience using the CoreAlign with our physical therapy clients?
Well, with physical therapy, we work on balance and strength and flexibility, and of course core. Getting strong in the center of the body really makes the whole body work in a much efficient and less prone injury way. So the CoreAlign really allows the physical therapists with Alpine to put our patients in a standing position, weight bearing, and challenge core with individual asymmetrical pulls on the feet. So for me and for I think the PTs at Alpine, it's really put our patients in a very functional training pattern rather than laying on your back or sitting. It's upright and it's weight bearing and very similar to walking, standing, squatting, that sort of thing.
And some of the things I've seen using CoreAlign now for about 6 months is the immediacy with which people begin to sense their center. And when people begin to sense their center, their posture improves, their spine is lengthened. A lot of times we're seeing reduced discomfort, and the carryover's just been insane. I mean, the fact people can get it, they don't even know that they're getting it, and yet their neurological system suggests otherwise.
And that's what I'm finding with patients is that they're saying it stays in their body for up to 2 to 4 days, and they just want more. They find themselves by the 4th day wanting to get kind of revamped back up and finding their center again because they felt so strong and centered and efficient with the work that they programmed in their body. And that's what's really nice about CoreAlign is it's so close to walking that you're basically able to keep that core connection in there while you're walking after the session's over.
Well, a couple buzzwords out there these days, core being one of them. And I've seen people who think they're doing core, and when they hit the CoreAlign, it's a completely different world for them, that they really haven't got a grasp on their core. I think the CoreAlign does a great job with that. The other buzzword, Sam, is functional strength. And I wonder if you could just speak for a minute about how the CoreAlign, you mentioned walking, how the CoreAlign mimics function, our day-to-day activities.
So basically, when you look at the fundamental exercise of CoreAlign, the hoof, it's really reflects the push-off phase of gait. And so that allows the physical therapist to train somebody to bring in their core and their alignment in the most efficient way in a pattern that we use every day just with walking. So it really programs the core to kick in with each hoof or with each toe push off in our gait cycle. The other thing that functionally works is it really shows someone where they have to find their center or their balance and keep neutral spine or neutral pelvis, which we've talked about, in a very functional position as far as with a lunge and an unstable surface, which you will see with vacuuming or pushing a cart, keeping really strong through the core so that you can really use the power through the glutes and the thighs to push whatever you're pushing or move whatever you need to move.
I think that's the fascinating part of CoreAlign is it's so dynamic. It puts people in a movement pattern that they need to feel that core, and then they can carry that over into daily activities, like you said, vacuuming, stepping, walking, and even sport. I think there's a big application to sport. I know you've been working with a lot of high-level athletes. How are you seeing this parlay into sport performance?
It's making my high-level athletes even more competitive. You know, Deanne Cummings, who's a 10-time 800-meter champion of Canada, she came back from, at age 36, came back from one of her first injuries and was able to get third in the world in her 800 meters. And she's been doing CoreAlign 2-3 times a week, and she attributes it to that. She was like I said, third this year in the Commonwealth Games, and she was 10 years older than the next performer or competitor. So.
Well, I know she wanted to keep that information quiet for as long as possible, but now we're seeing that benefit, and it really needs to be brought to people to know the value of what CoreAlign can do. And I think that's what's led us at Alpine Physical Therapy to want to move into the realm of helping a healthy population, people who are seeking higher technology in terms of their exercise forms, finding a free-form approach to exercise. CoreAlign is fun. It's definitely a fascinating approach, and maybe you could speak just a little bit about the Core Studio at Alpine that's opening here in just a couple months.
Well, we actually at Alpine started to create a demand for CoreAlign because our patients felt so good and recovered so quickly after their injuries, much like Deanne Cummings. You know, she said, this got me out of my injury, and why wouldn't it keep me out of injury? And why shouldn't I add this just to my regular training program? It will only help me stay in the zone that I need to be a top performer. And we're finding that with our clients. Whether they're returning to playing with their kids or just recreational tennis or soccer, they like the idea that CoreAlign got them out of that fixed stage, and they're thinking that, you know, and I believe that too, that it will keep them out of that fixed stage. It's a nice fundamental exercise to create those foundations of core that will really just make you a better sports performer, and also more efficient with everyday activities. So,
well, I think it's going to be fun. You know, we're going to have 6 to 8 CoreAlign set up. We'll also have our Pilates group sessions, offering people in Missoula a whole new approach to exercise using really scientifically based technology. For more information, be sure to check our website at corestudiomissoula.com. And if you have further questions about CoreAlign or Alpine Physical Therapy, be sure to visit our website. Brand new technology.
It's core training from head to toe.
We're fortunate to have one of the few CoreAlign master instructors in the world.
CoreAlign has been more effective than any other exercise I've tried.
I'd like to thank Sam for joining us on this update on the CoreAlign and its use at Alpine Physical Therapy, and soon to be the Core Studio at Alpine. And just keep your eyes open. There's going to be a lot happening in the realm of free-form exercise, including CoreAlign.